Get all that.
I've gotten into the Townsends YouTube channel. I've been watching that dude cook. I love that shit. I like to watch that man make a fucking pudding. Anything he wants to do. And he talks about the mush peas that sailors would eat. They take a bag and they fill it up with green like English peas, and then they boil the bag, and then you've got this ball of green mush. And they're like, they'd eat this pretty much every day.
Pretty much every day, and it's like, that somehow made peas less appetizing to me.
Yeah, he's like, now if you were really having a treat, you'd add a little butter and salt, but those were rare commodities, so you probably were eating it plain. Maybe a little nutmeg, which was considered a poor spice.
A little nutmeg on your mushed peas.
Yeah, he's dressed. If you don't know, Richard, they dress in period correct clothing.
Wow.
They have a property that's all like period correct with the cabins and the cookery, and I mean the spoons they use. They have a really good video where they do Revolutionary War stuff. So they show you how an officer during the Revolutionary War.
Bring up a pic for Richard.
They have this whole record of how Benjamin Franklin was trying to raise funds for the Continental Army, and he was like, we need X amount of like butter and X amount of brandy and X amount of sugar per man, and we need this many of those, and so he has those ingredients. So I'm going to create a feast from a continental lieutenant's kitchen, and he cooks them and puts them together. He gives you a historical cooking lesson, and then he eats it at the end with a wooden spoon. It's good.
Yeah, and I always love when he reads passages from old cookbooks, because they did not hold your hand in old cookbooks. It'd be like,
cook until good.
Yeah, I'm reading a passage here from Mary Baker from 1716. Cook the stew until well seasoned. Add spice to a sheep's head. Now, in that time, a sheep's head meant whatever you could afford. And it's like, what the fuck does any of this mean? But it was like a lot of guessing. It was like, add radishes well-rounded. It's like, what?
That's interesting. Is it because there wasn't a lot of measuring tools?
They weren't measuring. It was like, add this amount, and then even the cooking, it would be like, cook until it kind of smells like this, or until
some of the cooking books
looks
used like it was like cook until lunchtime, and it's what the fuck are you talking about?
Now cook soundly until thou art hungry.
It was interesting to me that like breakfast was usually like this really, really light meal. It was probably bread crumbled up in milk. That would be a common one, like to make the poor man's porridge. Lunch was the big meal of the day, because that was the meal that you brought to the men in the field who were like working up an appetite literally, and so they would have these meat pies and such that you could put in a pocket, and just super caloric dense. They'd be full of raisins or whatever, all sorts of weird shit. It'd be like beef and raisin pie. And then dinner would be another light meal, because you fucking ate this huge meal at lunch when you're working. So there's some like, I don't know, cultural stuff you learn. And he goes through the ages. He does like pirate stuff and or ship or sailor stuff. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, the sailor stuff is sick.
Stuff. Yeah, it's good.
And the I like, just like you said, the war. I like the rations.
What's uncomfortable though? That is when they have a black guy who works on the show too. They have several guys. There's a main guy. He's a white guy who's probably 55, and then there's a secondary guy. He's a fairly overweight big man who's maybe 35. And then every now and then this black dude shows up, and it's like he's wearing this slave garb. He's making some fucking cornbread. Yeah,
I don't remember him wearing slave
on.
garb.
Well, I mean, it's, you know,
if I recall, he's also
it looked
on
like
the larger
right out of
side.
Django. He's a big boy. He looked like he's right out of Django Unchained, but he was one of the house ninjas. He was eating.
Well,
good.
I was just enjoying watching him talk about how to cook up that fried chicken. And then they give you little lessons where he's like, the thing,
I'm not hating.
fried
I'm just
chicken
saying that's a
is a
sensitive
storied
period of
history
time for his people.
Yeah, it actually goes back to Scotland, and in Scotland they would fry the chicken blah 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 this way, and then in the Americas they switched this and that up and then did it this way. It's very entertaining. I love Townsend and Sons.
Yep, yeah, it's real good. I don't use any of their cooking though. I'll stick with Adam Ragusa or somebody for that.
Adam Ragusa?
Yeah, it's a good cooking channel.
Okay, I guess I stop on those quick recipes on Twitter for a reasonable amount of time, because my algorithm now serves me up a lot of cooking content, and I'm happy with it.
Adam Regis will break down a little bit of the science and history behind a thing. He'll really get to the bottom of why a Vidalia onion is a Vidalia onion and how to cook it, and it's go on. And he'll do some comparisons sometimes. We'll show you like what kind of garlic is best, whether you want preserved garlic or powdered garlic or fresh garlic or minced garlic, and he'll break it down, cook it a bunch of different ways, and show you the best way. And then I really like Chef John from foodwishes.com, who has a very funny way of speaking.
Well, if you're consuming that much cooking content, you got to tell me, what's your favorite thing to cook lately? Like, what do you?
I always fall back to like steaks and twice baked potatoes. I like to sous vide and cast iron beef tallow, garlic, rosemary, and I like doing twice baked potatoes with cheese and butter and stuff.
So
like
you're
that.
sous videing the steak.
I can do anything. Yeah.
You sure can.
I sous vide the steak to like rare, and then I take it out and it's all gross and gray, and then I sear it up in the cast iron pan and get some flavor on it. But I don't know, chicken parmesan, I'm really good at that. I make a tremendous chicken parm. Start with those San Marzano tomatoes and make just a perfect marinara sauce, and then get my fancy noodles. I've made my own pasta before for that. That's nice. That's a little time intense though. But just getting the chicken right with the I do a mixture of seasoned panko and seasoned flour, and you get a nice crispy, crunchy thing. Panko is like vacuum. They use a vacuum chamber to make the crumbs like these big inflated aerated crumblies. So panko adds a nice crunch. I do like half panko and half flour, and I marinate the chicken, and I do a really enormous chicken parm. I'm good at that. But anything really, I got really into Asian food for a while. A lot of Thai and Indian curries, making my own curry pastes and stuff. Got really into soups for a while and ordered all kinds of Asian ingredients to make hot and sour soup.
So you're cooking a lot.
I probably cook half my meals or something. Like I do a lot of meal prep too. Like lately my like kick has been stuffed bell peppers. So I'm making like just like ground bison and rice and black beans and just stuffing bell peppers, and then making like 8 of those, and I've got them individually sealed in my refrigerator, and I probably eat 2 peppers a day lately. I'm pretty autistic with it, where I'll get into these modes where I eat the same thing every day, but that also allows me to like get better at cooking a particular thing.
Need a lot of practice.
You're refining the process.
Like I do that in a less healthy way. Like I've been smoking a lot of ribs in my smoke.
But you get better as you go.
I am getting better at it every time. But you need to finally pull the trigger on the Traeger or just some kind of smoker, because you would enjoy it. You clearly have a passion for the culinary arts.
I like the set and forget nature of the smoker, because I love slow cooking. Like I make incredible Italian beef sandwiches. I love Portillo's in Chicago. I haven't been back there in years, but I always think about those sweet and hot pepper Portillo's Italian sandwiches, fucking dipped in the sauce and with the cheese fries and everything. So I duplicated that recipe and I got that down. It's just you do like a slow cooker roast beef with what are those peppers? Say it for me.
Giardiniera.
Giardinieras. You take like a jar of giardinieras and dump it in there on your with beef broth and Italian seasoning and some other stuff, and Epic. 8-9 hours later, you shred that shit up and put it on hoagies.
They're so good.
Delicious. Yes.
When I've done it, I like getting the extra hot, whatever the hottest kind of peppers you can get, and then go a little heavier on your pepper pour. I like a little
I want
heavier
it
on
covered in peppers. I want it covered in peppers. It's like a Midwestern cheesesteak, right? Like that's the deal. Like they're taking the Philly cheesesteak and making it not white trash.
It's so much better than a Philly cheesesteak. The Italian beef. Italian beef is the best.
Yeah, I can't get behind the cheese whiz. I know some of them do provolone, maybe. I guess I can get on with that, but it's still like not as flavorful as that Italian. I got into it because I was watching. Here's a show for you if you're not into it yet. The Bear. You know about The Bear?
That cooking show.
Dude, I love that shit. That is what got me on the Italian beef thing. I was like, well, we're not flying to Chicago, but I got to have that sandwich. So let's figure something out here. Yeah, I love The Bear. That's another one that I could get a little emotional watching, because his trials and tribulations and his intensity is so much. Like I love that actor.
Sometimes he doesn't know if he's going to finish the food in time.
like the only thing that it's like, when does he have time to work out? Dude's kind of ripped, you know what I mean? like he is like ripped as
nicotine.
Fuck.
Nicotine, adrenaline, and not eating a whole lot.